Sorry, folks. We were just talking. That's why we're so late.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, guys. This is Drew.
This is Jacob.
I don't even know if we're live on anything yet or if I'm just talking to dead air.
For the moment.
But as those of you who do join us, especially on the VOD, as they say,
The VOD,
video on demand, VOD,
VOD, VOD. Got it.
We are reviewing tonight Urkel Save Santa. Carl Winslow would be so mad at this thing right now.
Mm-hmm. By the way, we were live on Facebook. We were live on
saw
Twitch.
the notification on Facebook
Yes.
go.
So yeah, along with that, we are also continuing our journey into Neon Genesis Evangelion with episodes 5 and 6 of Ray 1 and Ray 2.
AKA the end of 1.0, you cannot advance.
Yes.
And it's at this point, it's like, and now I have really no idea where this goes, other than I know Asuka's coming soon.
Uh-huh.
And she's going to be a bit spicy.
A little.
And I'm saying a bit spicy. You're going, a bit spicy?
Yeah, a bit.
That chili pepper.
More like firecracker.
So yeah, we will be getting started on that pretty soon.
Yes.
And yes, if y'all can't tell, I do have a bit of a cold, but thankfully it is not any worse than a cold.
Yes. Thankfully.
Also, this movie is so new that most of my research methods failed me.
Yeah.
So, and I get the feeling that we might be the only people who've watched this film.
No, there's been several on YouTube who watched it.
So, content creators are watching it.
Yeah, content creators are
Whether
watching.
anyone else has braved this thing.
Treasure.
I guess if you polish a turd long enough.
This is going to be a fun episode. Very, very fun.
I'm just saying that if this starts a tradition, then at least one of our episodes could have belonged in Bad Movie Month and Christmas. I do have plenty to choose from.
Fair.
I have told you of at least 2 of them.
Yes. I think. I remember you telling me something, but then I slept during then.
Glad to know you're paying attention.
Again, I have the attention span of a gopher.
Let's just say there's one where it looks like it's not Precious Moments dolls. Legally, it can't be.
You're right.
Because I know they would not have paid a license.
Yeah.
But they look like Precious Moments dolls. And they look like if they stared at you too long, they'd steal your soul.
Oh, one of those.
And they're just in love with a pine tree.
A pine tree? Okay.
A Christmas tree.
Oh my.
It's a goofy thing. I have not watched the whole thing. I've just seen reviews of it. I'm going, well, I know why this aired once. And only once. Wondering why it got that far.
Yeah.
And then there's another one that looks like it was made with PlayStation 1 graphics.
Ooh.
And Mark Hamill's in it. He must have needed a paycheck. When what's funny is they sequel bait a sequel at the end of it.
Oh no.
An Easter sequel that never got made.
Oh jeez. That is just never fun.
But anyway.
are the ones that are like they're halfway decent, but they have they're problematic story wise or something like that, and they tease up this really good ending or this sequel baiting, and it never gets done. I'm like, that's just disappointing. Let me guess, you're going to show me something.
Yes, I am.
Rap City Street.
I think I can just find it just like that.
Kids.
So here's the main cast.
Oh, dear Lord. All I'll say is like this one screenshot on IMDb.
Yeah,
it's like
this one right here. This one right
here. Oh, mother of pearl. It looks like bad claymation.
Oh, claymation. Wish it looked this bad.
Oh, geez. Oh, that's CG?
That's CG.
Oh, my. Are we sure this isn't claymation?
This guy right back here? That's Mark Hamill.
Oh, bother.
Yes, I am sure. This is not.
Well, obviously that's not CG, but I was thinking like maybe it was. Oh, mother.
Now this woman, this old grandma, she can't actually. You know, I don't think they were intentionally trying to be racist.
Oh.
But they decided that not only was she going to have an Aunt Jemima accent, it was going to be so thick that the people down in the bayou wouldn't be able to understand her. Because half the time it's just like, it sounds like a freaking alien from the planet Moonbeam.
Jeez.
Until she says something at the very end, you go, you can speak English?
Wow.
So yeah.
Even Saberspark did something over it.
That boy.
Yeah, that's Saberspark for you.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Dylan, are you here? I hadn't even checked your audio yet.
Yes.
Oh, good. Everything's working fine.
Good. For the moment.
Oh, hush.
Do I want to know what you just said?
No.
Okay. No. Okay, fine.
Anyway, you ready to get started?
Yeah, let's do that. Deal
The CEL cast is recorded in front of a live streaming audience.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the CEL Cast. Joining me today is a man who, well, he just wanted to play some basketball, but he kept getting wet. And in this weather, that's just not going to work. Welcome, Jacob.
Sometimes you just don't get the forecast right. Am I right?
Well, those kids did say they wanted to make it rain.
That's true, but not in that way.
Not in that way.
Why, thank you. Let me introduce our co-host, a man who just could not say this one phrase for driving everybody up the world. Did I do that?
I did not say it.
He pleads the fifth.
I know with the nasally nature of my voice at the moment.
Yes.
And it could really sound like I was trying to be Steve Urkel, but it's really not what I was trying to go for. And I'm really not getting Steve Urkel, if we're being honest.
No, well, a little too southern there.
Because I am a southern white boy. Let's be honest.
Yes.
Anyway. Oh, we're starting off great tonight.
Of course, we always do.
So yeah, tonight we are reviewing a brand new film. Yes, this film has only been available to watch for what, 2 weeks?
It's
maybe three,
because it was able to stream on November 21st.
Okay, so let's just say a month. By the time this comes out, it'll be about a month.
It'll be about a month.
Urkel Saves Santa, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I have questions that we will have to ask later.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're going into this thinking that this is going to be the animated Family Matters reunion,
it's not.
I understand why now that Warner Brothers Discovery decided that the insurance money would be preferable to this thing. And yet they still decided to release it to the world.
So
thanks, Max.
So here's a funny fact. So while doing the research, I think you might found this in your research or not, but apparently they did a Family Matters reunion movie.
I did not run across this.
Yes. It had none of the original cast.
Then what's the point?
Exactly.
That's the whole point of a reunion is not to see the characters again, it's to see the actors playing the characters.
Yeah.
I was about to say something stupid like that would be like if they did a Full House remake and they couldn't get Ashley and Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen to come back, but that actually is how that happened.
Yeah, that was funny.
You know what they should have done? And granted, I didn't watch any of Fuller House, so no idea what they actually did.
I actually watched that first episode. It was funny.
What they should have done was, since Mary-Kate and Ashley obviously did not want to because they have moved on from acting, apparently.
Yes.
They should have had Elizabeth Olsen come in and play her as an adult.
Oh, that would have been hilarious.
That would have been hilarious, and she'd have done it.
Yes.
If they had thought to talk to her.
It's
not like she hadn't been on that set before.
That is true.
Because that's one of the things I remember from WandaVision is watching the making of. Says, "Oh yeah, I used to be on the set of Full House. I know what all this sitcom stuff is like."
Exactly.
It's like, you were a baby. How would you know?
Well, she grew up on the set, so
that's true. That's true. Either way,
yes,
that would have made far more sense than what we got.
Yeah. Then
this
movie.
I will say this about the research I did do on this.
Yes.
This is not coming from a vacuum, at least with this version of the Steve Urkel character.
Okay.
Steve Urkel, as a character, did appear in a Scooby-Doo and Guess Who episode.
He did.
With Robo Urkel. Or
Yeah.
Urkelbot. That's what his name is. So that is technically this same Urkel.
I'm curious if this Urkel was better.
I've not seen the episode.
Me either.
So I have no idea. That being said, Max, Scooby-Doo, and Urkel.
Yeah.
This does not sound like a good combination because we know what they did to Velma. And I do not mean the character, I mean the show.
Yeah.
I'm not even a big Scooby-Doo fan, and I feel offended because of that show. But anyway, you ready to go ahead and just jump into the spoiler-free section on this? Yeah, I'll just skip the spoiler-free section and go straight to Phil. That's what I nearly said.
I think you have the ambition to roast this movie.
Let's just say that, it is a Christmas tradition to at least roast something on an open fire.
This is going to be a fun episode.
Certified fresh and spoiler free.
As you can imagine, this is my first viewing of this film. And I can do it from here. And I want to read you two texts that I sent Jacob as I was watching this.
Mm-hmm.
If I can find it. That's not it. That's not it.
There you go.
Thank you. First one. 6 minutes into Urkel Saves Santa is already pitiful, just giving you a bit of a warning.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, not kidding. This is like an hour later.
Yeah.
Not kidding. If not for the podcast, I would have shut this off a long time ago. This is bad, folks. I'm not saying it's Leo the Lion bad.
Yeah.
But it's bad. I am not saying don't watch it. I'm saying get a bunch of your friends who like bad movies together and riff tracks this thing. That's what I'm saying. Rip this thing to shreds because it deserves it. If you can even find it, because that's the thing. I don't know if you can actually make fun of this very well. But we're going to try, or I will. What are your spoiler-free thoughts?
Again, like my co-host, this is the first time watching this movie. There again, I grew up watching Family Matters on TGIF.
I did too.
Yep. Amazing show. This is not the show.
No, it's not.
No, it's not the show. This is
Family Matters Go. No, that's too nice.
That is too nice. This
Family
film.
Matters roar.
Oh gosh, it's Family Matters roar. Oh my gosh, you're not kidding. Because be like, there are parts of this thing I slightly enjoy. I like some of the throwbacks here and there.
I'm not fully against this film, as you will see.
Yeah,
but I have issues.
Yeah, I think I do too. So I'd be like, again, there are some issues. There are this and that and another, and the repeat of so many things in this movie drove me nuts. But I can say, be like, it was fair. It was a fair movie. Is this something I would ever watch again? Probably not. It was a fair movie. It wasn't good. It wasn't terrible, but it was. I'm having a hard time just saying fair with this movie.
Yeah,
but I would say if you're interested, go look at it. Go rent it somewhere.
Unfortunately, yes, you will have to rent this. It is not free anywhere.
Yeah, yet.
Give it time. It'll have to go back to Max eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Until they kill Max. Whenever that is going to be.
Yeah, don't kill Max. He's a good dog.
Wrong Max. That Max was a good dog.
Yes.
The Grinch didn't deserve him.
I'm talking Prince Eric's Max.
I think we can agree nearly every Max is a better dog.
That's
than
true.
Than the streaming service is a streaming
True.
service.
True.
Either way, let's just go ahead and do the spoiler film.
Yeah, let's hop into the spoilers.
The following is a spoiler-filled review for the film Urkel Saves Santa the Movie. Listener discretion is advised.
Yep.
Urkel Saves Santa the film was directed by Jojo Ramos Patrick, who did Bebo Saves Christmas. Richard Pose, who was this was his directorial debut. And I don't mean he had some other like shorts or something behind that. This is his directorial debut, period.
Wow.
He was an animation director before this, so
he's got some experience behind the helm. Brian
Newton also directed this. He directed episodes of Teen Titans Go. Gee, there's a surprise.
Yeah, I guess the simulations are obvious.
Let's just say that there's DNA. It was written by Wyatt Cenac of The Daily Show fame.
Okay.
Getting into the cast, we of course have Jaleel White, reprising his role as Steve Urkel, Urkelbot, and for 1 second, Stefan Urkel.
Yes.
I know him better as Sonic the Hedgehog in the Sonic the Saturday morning cartoon, The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and Sonic Underground. That was a good show. I'm sorry it was. Especially when I was a kid. Anyway, Joel Kim Booster was the voice of Clark Gary, and he was Noah on something called Fire Island. Nicole Byer played Cheryl. I think the bus driver. I could be wrong on that.
Possibly.
Anyway, she plays Luna Fox in Good Burger 2, which is not out yet, but is coming. That's, I think, a Paramount Plus exclusive.
Probably.
Tiana Camacho was the voice of Robin, the elf.
Yeah, the elf.
And one of the children. And she is playing Lily in the video game Street Fighter 6.
Oh, okay.
Arturo Castro plays Dudley and Robin's dad, and he was Private Martinez in History of the World Part 2.
Oh, okay.
Which I forgot came out.
Yeah, that's on Hulu right now.
I think so. Zara Fazal, and if I said that name wrong, I apologize, played Sully, she. That is a she. I am very sorry now. She played Livewire in My Adventures with Superman.
Right.
Yeah,
The newer one. Yeah, that came out
with Sailor Moon, Superman in that one in that one.
That one scene.
I know, but that's the only thing I've seen is like that is straight out of Sailor Moon.
It is a good scene. It's a good.
Oh, I'm sure it's amazing.
It's good,
but I've only seen it out of context.
Yes, I saw that too. And I was like, oh my gosh! Please say they're not going to do that the entire time.
Roy Wood Jr. was the voice of Department Store Santa, and he played Roy in Sullivan and Son. He was, for some reason, uncredited in this film.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
I had to go do some other digging to figure out this, because while it was on IMDb, it was down a little ways.
Huh.
Before I finally found, he's the one who played DSS. Larry Owens was the voice of actual Santa.
Oh gosh.
He played the Music Meister in Harley Quinn.
Okay. A show I watched one episode and like, nope.
Probably I would have had the same thought, except I didn't even get that far. Dana Snyder was Mr. Kalen and the bus dispatcher. And he was Penguin in Batman Unlimited.
Oh, okay.
Kingdom Hearts connections. How many do you think we have?
2.
No.
1?
No.
-3.
How would that work?
I don't know.
Goose egg should be what you went with, because it is a big nope, nothing.
Gotcha.
So that's all I have in terms of cast and crew. What do we got in info and stuff?
Oh, okay. This is gonna be interesting for you because I can tell how the review is gonna go. So this is interesting. So IMDb has a 7.2 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes is has a 90.
These reviews were paid off. That's the only explanation I have. Or otherwise, people have no taste.
All right. So
actually, people having no taste seems more likely now that I think about it.
But I watched it. I was watching on Apple Plus. Where did you watch it?
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime.
Which is ironic.
Yes.
Considering the villain of this thing.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Not kidding. All right. So production was Warner Brothers production. Distributed by somebody. Don't know who. Can't find it anywhere.
Warner Brothers.
Maybe.
Has to be. Who else would do it? I'm guessing.
Well, most of them, like with all these films that have been kind of spun off, most of them they're done by Warner Brothers, distributed by Warner.
Well, in that case, you're right. We don't know who the distributor is, because since it didn't go to just one service, you can't claim Amazon distributed it or Netflix did. It just got sold to three different services.
Yeah, maybe.
From what I could tell,
maybe, but we can assume, we can make a logical jump that Warner Brothers maybe had something involved with it.
Warner Brothers, at the very least, funded the making of this thing, since it is officially a Warner Brothers animated movie.
Yes.
So,
yeah,
Animation Studios film. Anyway,
yes. All right, runtime was 1 hour and 26 minutes. It seemed to be like that
was a very long hour and a half.
You're not kidding. Like it should have been like 1 hour 15.
It should have been 30 minutes. I'll get to that in a minute.
All right, so there's obviously no box office of this. Streaming wise, going to be a little
YouTube, Amazon Prime, and Apple Plus. That's the only 3 places I know of.
Yeah, it's available to stream most places, and it's like $4.99,
$3.99. I thought. Either way, it was way too much money.
All right, on September 1st, 2021, it was announced that the animated Christmas film Urkel Saves Santa, the movie, originally Did I Do That to the Holidays, a Steve Urkel story, was planned to air on Cartoon Network as a part of the block with Acme Night in 2022. It was set to release on HBO Max. However, on August 22nd, 2022, it was announced that the film would not be moving forward on HBO Max and would be shopped elsewhere due to the Warner Brothers Discovery merger. Thanks, Warner Brothers. If I could talk. Warner Bros. Discovery instead released the film on digital starting on November 21st, 2023. The only thing I could think of was a prequel was its original source was Family Matters from 1989 to 1997.
Pretty much.
Yeah. That's all I have for info and stuff.
All right, getting into the very short summary because no one's done the big plot synopsis like I usually put. The holiday season is here, and brilliant but accident-prone Steve Urkel has already ruined his local celebration by publicly humiliating a department store Santa at his local shopping mall.
Surprise, surprise to nobody.
In his attempt to make things right and score some nice points with the big guy in the North Pole, Steve invents a device that helps people spread holiday cheer, but it only manages to make things worse. Using his big brain and even bigger heart, it's up to Steve to help the city rediscover the holiday spirit. Yeah, that's what I've got for summary. Trivia. You already said my trivia. It was originally a Max original, but shelved for the insurance money.
Yes.
It was originally named Did I Do That to the Holidays? A Steve Urkel story. And that's all I've got for trivia.
Okay.
What's your first like for this film?
My first like would be the little references they would go from Family Matters, even though they didn't get any of the original cast to do this thing.
Incorrect. Jaleel White was here.
Besides Jaleel White.
He is a member of the original cast.
I know that. But it's like I'll get there when I get there.
I have a feeling we're gonna have we'll get there. We will get there.
We will get there. So my first like is like when they reference the musical cue for Family Matters or the Family Matters logo or
just the font.
Just the font. They would use the font or they would use like the two scenes where you actually either Stefan is referenced or you see him twice.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very
you mean Stefan Urkel bot? Because it was the Urkel bot that turned into Steve Urkel. Stefan Urkel in this. You do remember this, do you?
No, because in the is in the movie or in the show? The movie. At one point, that's right. He does turn the
Urkel bot opens up and Stefan Urkel steps out of it. He says, "You can call me Stefan Urkel bot."
That's right. It's like what? No,
this is some Battlestar Galactica remake level stuff going on right here.
But overall, I like the references. I like the references going back to a far better show than this movie.
Okay.
So yeah,
my first like for this film is I liked how they show people really are with cell phones.
Yes, I agreed.
Because let's face it, people do a lot of things for points.
Oh, you're not kidding.
And they're things that they probably should be doing good for because they can anyway.
Yeah.
But because, I've got to make points because it shows what's so horrible about a lot of these cell phone games.
Yeah.
And a lot of other activities like, I'm sorry, you can call me an old man if you wish. I don't care. Taking pictures of your food for Twitter X, key, whatever we're calling that software today. I don't get that. Or posting everything through Facebook.
Your host does that with a lot of my meals. I know, I'm weird.
First off, I said you can call me an old man about this. I will not get offended. I've messed with you because you do that already. You know my feelings on this.
Yes.
I also don't care if you let your food get cold because I know it's going to take you 5 days to eat it anyway. So why get mad that you're not immediately getting into your food, especially since it's not stopping me from eating?
Either
but what I'm trying to say is there is a bit of a, what is the word I'm looking for? It's the word that comes to mind is Phariseeism, but there's actually a newer word for it, and I can't think of what it's called. When you do stuff so that you look good.
Oh,
that is usually used derogatory, and people are claiming the other political side is just doing that to look good, not because they actually believe in that sort of thing.
Right.
There's a lot of that going around at COVID. A lot of reference things of that nature. People saying that.
Mm-hmm.
What is it called?
I'm drawing a blank as well. It's like in the tip of your tongue, right?
Yeah.
Darn it. Bum 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 bum. Do 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 do.
And the actual other word for it is self-righteousness, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
But there's a newer term for it, and I can't think of what it is.
Pandering. That's what I keep thinking is pandering, like you're pandering to something.
Yeah, but it's like when you can continue to say, look at all this cool stuff I'm doing, like I'm helping the poor and taking a picture of it.
Oh, yeah.
Or what do you call that?
Self-aggrandizement?
No, there's a term. There's an actual regular word for it.
And probably all our listeners would be like, "It's this word, you idiot!"
I know. Good night.
Barcelona.
Posting about good deeds on. Maybe this will tell me what it's called. I'm feeling stupid.
Yeah, we all do it.
Anyway, I'll think of it later. But people they're more worried about showing how good they are than actually doing good. Mm-hmm. That's 9/10 of the thing about this is you're not of the theme of this movie is you doing right because are you doing good because you care about somebody is more important than doing good because it gets you points.
Yeah.
That's my first is they actually do a good job of showing what that looks like when you're not doing that.
I would agree with you. Definitely when the point where Urkel's come to the realization, it's like, oh, what have I done?
Yeah.
And it turns from this Urkel-ish show to a horror, like you're in a mall and it turns to a horror film. And I was like, oh, that was clever.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was clever. All right. So my second of this movie, if I can go back to my notes. Kind of going with the spirit of the character of Steve Urkel, like they capture that and they capture the essence of Urkel in a way where it's a guy who is constantly he's this goofball who doesn't quite think things through. He just does it, and he causes trouble with it, and he overcompensates with it. And I think it's a good encapsulation of who Urkel was as a character. I honestly, I think it's a little overboard for all the movie. Let's just say that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because at some point, Urkel would just wise up and not do everything. But
you're getting into one of my dislikes. Continue.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, I like that they kind of represented the essence of Steve Urkel with the guy who is just he does things because he wants to help or somebody, he winds up blowing it, he winds up making a mistake, and then he overcompensates with that, and he learns a lesson through that. And it's what Steve always did in the show. And they kind of encapsulate that with this movie a little bit, and they overdo it way too much. But yeah, I like it that they encapsulate the chemical reaction that is Steve Urkel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my number 2.
My number 2 is actually the art. I actually do like the art design in this. In fact, there was when this movie was getting started, I was looking at it and going, this isn't actually half bad for what this is.
It's not.
It's doing it's obviously Warner Brothers style animation, but it's not too overly flashy. It feels like, this is going to be a Steve Urkel story. It's going to be taking place in Chicago like it's supposed to.
Yes.
and it, even when it goes into its crazier moments,
Mhm.
it actually flows in a way that makes sense and works. So yeah, I like the art style in this.
Mm.
What's your third like?
My third like, and kind of going into animation, because I wrote one thing down and I was like, nah, this seems better. A particular scene where I think Urkel has like encountered Santa, aka a
Yeti
Santa, which is okay, kind of weird, but the point where the animation shifts into kind of a
claymation.
claymation time for a moment, I was like, wow, this is really good.
Oh,
I was thoroughly impressed with that. I was like, because there again, it's still 3D animated, but it has this feel and texture of.
I'll be honest, I wasn't sure.
Hmm.
I'm still not sure. Looking at that, if that's just 3D animated, but made to look like it's stop motion.
Maybe.
Because I mean, the Lego Movie was 3D animated, but made to look like it was stop motion.
Yeah.
And it could be that that's what it was, but honestly, it looked pretty spot on to full on stop motion claymation.
Yeah, it's that scene where it does become claymation like.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciated that, where they took the time and the texture and the time to do that, and I was really appreciative of that, and I was like, wow, this is really good. Can this movie stay this way in some capacity? I guess not, but
no, why would it do that?
Yes, but yeah, that when the movie goes claymation, I was like, okay, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with that. So, what is your third like?
My third like for this is,
if you have a third like.
I do have a third like actually. No, my third like for this is yeah, you said that, and of course it just left my head.
Mm-hmm.
No, my third like for this is actually Jaleel White playing Urkel.
Oh, okay.
I think while he is definitely older than this character is supposed to be, and they definitely had to pitch shift his voice to get it up to the right pitch for this.
Mm-hmm.
He is spot on with how this character is. He understands this character so well. Granted, it's the one he played for 8 years. It's the character, one of the characters he's the most well known for.
Yeah, it's his most iconic.
Between that and Sonic, he has no offense, man, he has nothing else.
True.
Although he did show up in an episode of Psych once.
Yes,
and he does have some other little shows or movies that have been like in there, but you can tell he knows this character very well, and he's playing it as respectful as the script allows.
Yes,
he's still granted, he feels like Urkel was at the beginning of Family Matters, from what I remember.
Yeah,
and he is supposed to be about that age.
Yeah,
but it feels like he's right where he needs to be, right where he's supposed to be. And I appreciate that.
Okay. So
shall we rip this apart?
Let's go into the dislike, shall we?
I want to start.
Okay.
This movie's title lies.
It does. Thank you.
He does not save either Santa Claus in this film.
No.
Either department store Santa or the real Santa.
No.
Honestly, the original title, granted longer and maybe doesn't look as good on a movie poster, Did I Do That to the Holidays, is more accurate title for this than Urkel Saves Santa, because he doesn't save Santa. Santa doesn't need saving.
Yeah. It's literally he runs into Santa and Santa helps him in a situation.
Yes.
Which is stupid.
So yeah, that's my first dislike is the title lies.
Yeah.
Urkel is not having to save Santa.
I
At least with Ernest Saves Christmas, which it deals with another intentionally annoying character.
Yeah.
Whose antics cause trouble for everyone around him, including the Santa Clauses in the film.
Right.
He actually is responsible for saving Christmas in the movie. Urkel does not save Santa.
No, it's not.
And
it's completely misleading.
And admittedly, and I'll get into this a little bit more in a minute, when I saw that this was called Urkel Saves Santa, I was expecting it to be, and seeing the two people on the cover, granted, I was fairly certain department store Santa was not going to be Carl Winslow, and the elf was not going to be Stephanie.
Stephanie.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking that was her name.
Mm-hmm.
But I figured they were going to be as close to those as close to those characters as you could be with them actually not being those characters.
Right.
Because they look like that on the cover.
Agreed.
And I'm thinking, okay, maybe what I'm thinking of as department store Santa, maybe that actually is Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the elves are on strike or they're not going to make their production time in time. And the Stephanie elf, for lack of a better term, is we'll come across a video of one of Urkel's inventions, says, oh, this guy can help us, and she gets him up to the North Pole. One of Urkel's inventions causes all the trouble, and causes Santa to get into some trouble, and Urkel has to be selfless in order to save him, and that's why the title is called that. I was also expecting this to be about 30 minutes.
Yeah, 30, 45 minutes.
Before I hit play on the movie, and then hit pause again, because I want to know how long it is. And it's like, is this an hour and a half?
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to get an hour and a half out of this? Well, I guess we'll find out. Filler, that's how you do it.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
So yeah, this movie is not what was sold to me. That's all I'm saying.
Extremely misleading. My first dislike
bait and switch.
Bait and switch. There we go. That's a better word. Bait and switch. Or Liza.
To quote a previous episode title of this show, along with a certain Will Ferrell elf movie, this movie sits on a throne of lies.
All right, so my first dislike of this film is the catchphrase is way. Oh my gosh, I counted it 7. They use 7 of did I do that the entire time? I was like, Jiminy,
and only one of them was done where it worked.
Yeah, exactly. It's just it was so irritating. Like when you text me, we were first 6 minutes into this film, because it colored my view for a minute, and I was watching it, and then it just kept going and going and going with this. Did I do that? Or it's set in the background or something like that. I'm like, it's oversaturating the phrase. Be like, a catchphrase is said once, maybe it's twice.
Yeah.
Not 7 times the entire film. The
rule is 3.
Yeah.
That's the rule, because the first time, oh, that's funny. Second time, okay, yeah, you get a repeat. Third time, okay, the joke is done.
Yeah.
If you do it a 4th time, you better have a good reason.
Yeah. And it is the joke is ran into the ground, and it is.
As an example of a joke that actually did it correctly with the 4th time.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
It's by the 7th time, I'm infuriated with this thing. I'm like, really? Stop with it's a great catchphrase when you use it once or twice in an episode, not 7 times in one film. You've killed the joke already. Stop.
Yeah.
So yeah, they kill a catchphrase. That's my first one.
We'll be killing it more, because I think that's going to be the episode title.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, my second dislike. Oh boy. Yeti Claus, really?
Yeah, Yeti Claus.
Okay. I would like to point out that that's really just the start of this issue.
Okay. The
real problem is Kwanzaa is given at least a fair amount of respect in the film. Judaism with a Hanukkah is given a fair amount of respect in the film. The 2 or 3 other the Japanese New Year is given fair amount of respect. There is even a mention, at least in one song, that all this is based around the solstice, which is the pagan festival that technically is part of the reason why Christmas is at this time of year. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah.
Christianity gets no respect in this whatsoever, or for that matter, the Caucasian Christmas at all. And I'm not saying that as like we're somehow better or worse than anybody else. That's not what I'm saying. First of all, we do not celebrate the birth of the baby Jay-Z.
Jeez, that was so insulting.
That was insulting when it started.
I understand they're trying to make a joke, but
And
be
I
like,
get it.
it
It's
just
like-
continues this really, really bad joke.
Because later on they go, oh, we can go caroling Jay-Z songs. We'll even let you sing the curse words, Urkel. It's like, it took me a minute to catch.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we'll go caroling. We'll even let you sing the curse words. I'm going, what? What Christmas carol has curse words in it?
Yeah.
And I goes, oh, you're talking about Jay-Z songs.
Wow.
Why? And then here's the thing. Granted, Santa Claus has been interpreted many different ways.
Yes, and can be. Yes,
and can be. And this is not the first time he is a magical creature in a lot of instances.
Mm-hmm.
He is a fairy in a couple of them. They call him a jolly old elf, and which technically would make him a fae, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Yeti, really? I mean, it's like you took the Krampus and Santa Claus and rolled them into one.
Yeah.
Which may be their thought process with the Krampus and that. I don't know. It's just, I'm looking at it and going, I understand you're making a joke.
Mm-hmm.
This joke is not funny.
No, it's
and
not.
it keeps going and going. And it's like, if the joke was not funny when you started it, you shouldn't keep it going. The Santa Yeti should have been one scene and that was it.
Uh-huh.
But no, it just keeps going and going and going. It's like, and he keeps showing up. It's like, you let the Yeti die. Granted, I did like the joke about how, I say I like the joke, but it does actually go against one of the other things about Santa Claus, because you know the phrase, he sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake.
Yeah.
Dude, I ain't got no internet up here. How are you making... I mean, granted, he is explaining why even the naughty kids are getting presents.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know what's interesting, though, about the coal thing? Because we've both, we know the research. We know why coal is given to naughty kids in their stockings.
I believe so.
Yeah. Because Saint Nick, who was doing this, that, the whole Santa Claus mythos is based off of, the is he German? I think he's German.
He's German.
The German theologian who felt bad for a lot of the kids in his area, so he gave them toys in their stockings and coal, so that they could light their fires and stay alive. The coal was as much a present as a wooden duck. Granted, you kind of follow through with that. Because, I give presents to everybody because I don't know if you've been good or bad. But then the elves on the shelf are going to be really pissed that they've been doing this job for nothing.
Right. So let me bounce off what you just said.
I'm kind of bouncing all over the place just because they changed so much of what I would consider Christmas. But they didn't make fun of any of the others any more than, references here or there.
Yeah.
But they just completely disrespected Christmas itself.
Yeah, I agree. Like one of my down list was they had this fear of saying Christmas. Like, obviously you have one character says it, and you have the Yeti Santa does say Christmas in one of his songs.
They do say Christmas, but they are so scared of actually saying the Christ part at the beginning of that.
Yeah.
Literally, it's like you could tell in the script it said Xmas.
Yeah.
It didn't say Christmas, it said Xmas. Yes, I know that the X is
it's
representative of Christ.
Yes.
Do not get me wrong, but I'm still sitting there going, the way they wrote it, it meant Xmas.
Yeah. Yeah, it was this general fear of like trying expressing something that has been around, like
you say fear, I think actually it was hatred.
Okay. Okay, I can see that.
Here's granted, this is going to sound like I think there's a war on Christmas and all that other conservative Republican Party nonsense. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
But I do believe as things are getting worse and worse that Christianity is getting a bit of a hatred on it from the secular world. And honestly, I kind of understand why.
Yeah.
Both from how some of us Christians act.
Yeah.
Or some of us who claim to be Christians.
Right.
How they act. And just the simple fact that the world's, me and you as Christians both know the world is going to hate us because of who we say we follow.
Yeah, exactly. Like even Jesus says at one point, be like the world first hated me because
they'll hate you because you follow me, because they
exactly.
first hated they hate you because they first hated me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it, but it's like, dude, you don't have to be blatant about it.
Yeah.
You are preaching tolerance of all these other religions,
but you're not being tolerant.
But not being tolerant of us. You are even tolerant of the Seinfeld invented holiday Festivus.
Yeah, they threw that in there
multiple times.
Yeah.
The first time I was like, oh, that's a good joke. Yeah, Festivus for the rest of us. That's the ongoing joke now because of Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're still bringing this up, even though it's meant to be a satirical holiday.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. It's...
Next thing you're going to tell me you all believe in the flying spaghetti monster. Pastafarians. Continue. I'm sorry.
Either or. Like, yeah, I agree with you. I agree. There's either a fear or a hatred towards the idea of like representing Christmas the way it's been traditional for the last
100 years at least.
200 years at least. And I can see where the culture would want to get away from that because, you know, there again, like you said, like how many Christians or people who claim to be Christian present themselves. And that's not an accurate representation of Christian or someone who is a born again Christian.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I also see where the world is be like you had for at least 200 years. Like you had the church had a huge presence, influence on everything, and where the world is kind of stepped away from it's okay. We no longer want to have anything with that, and it's just like we're just be like out here rebelling. It's like no, because sometimes I think it's more against the church rather than Christ, but I could be wrong. But or what the church became or had so much influence over, but either or, I totally get your point. I totally get your point, and I agree with it. And I think Christmas, as we know it, be like anybody who celebrates Christmas should be celebrated the way it should be. Like it doesn't matter if you're using a different ethnicity for Santa or whatever. Yeah. That's fine. Be like,
I don't care if Santa's black. I'm sorry, I don't care.
Yeah, because we live
Asian or giant or Yeti, really, for that matter.
Yeah, but I think that when if you're going to represent all these other celebrations that come out around December, or they put them in December because Christmas was in December, so everybody, or I could be wrong in that, but I think it's like you should represent it and not be like it's like, oh, because this is XYZ, trying to throw a political thing in there, but represent everything and not just one,
and equally
true. So yeah, I agree. All right, so my second dislike, this movie, I think you pointed out, and I changed mine to this movie is way too freaking long and it drags.
Yes. Good night. I was when you told me about this thing, I figure, okay, it's probably 20 minutes with commercials, so 30-minute time slot, or I would have accepted 45 with 15 minutes of commercials for an hour-long time slot. Honestly, that's about the length of most specials, period.
Yeah.
Because Charlie Brown Christmas, half hour.
Yeah.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, half an hour. No, it was 45 minutes. I'm sorry. That one was 40. That was nearly an hour.
It did.
The How the Grinch Stole Christmas, half hour. Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas was an hour. This, it's an hour and a half, and the first half hour, they don't even get to the problem until the first half hour is already passed.
Yeah.
The real meat of the story is not until after a half hour has already passed.
Yeah.
Granted, they're setting up why Urkel is in the position where he wants to make that thing, but anyway, sorry.
Yeah, the story itself drags way too much. The third act, it's like last Monday's review, it was like, just trim the fat on this movie, you might have a better film. But the jokes are too long, the gags are too long, they repeat themselves way too much. Just by the end of this movie, it's just like, just end already. Be like, the suffering of the blade going into my shoulder blade is not comfortable at this point. Can we wrap this up? But no, it's got to keep going and go. It's like a really, really bad Energizer bunny. It just keeps going, and it's gonna annoy the crap out of you. Now, granted, the idea of Steve Urkel is he's an annoying character, but you learn to love the guy.
Yeah.
And
he's supposed to be lovable, even if he's annoying.
Yeah. Be like a granted, be like, we do get that after an hour and a half. Almost like an hour point. We finally get to see the Urkel we're supposed to be seeing. But Jimini's, this movie is way too long. It's way too long in the tooth. It's like they're trying to sell all these different stories, like the last movie we did. What was that movie again?
The Star.
The Star. Yeah, there's way too many plot points going on at once throughout this entire movie, and it is just it's like the movie is trying to drag out the runtime for the sake of, we got to make this an hour 30 film, so we got to throw in more stupid crap. Just make it a 45-minute film, trim the fat down, obviously the director be like, this is more the writers than anything, because the writer, it's just like, you're trying to throw in way too much at one time. It's like, are you expecting this to be picked up as a TV show? Honestly,
It feels like it. Like this could have been like a pilot for a TV show. It wouldn't have been the first time that a Christmas special it ended up being a backdoor pilot for a television show.
Oh yeah, agreed. Doctor Who tried to do it in the 90s and it failed.
Well, that wasn't a Christmas movie, but yes.
No, but this the same premise.
Yeah,
same premise, trying to do a special. But oh my gosh, this movie just drags. And it almost stunts its story in order to tell a longer story. And it is so pitiful by the end of it. Like, Urkel finally learns his lesson. He finally defeats the bad guy. It's like, weren't you supposed to be saving Santa?
Yeah.
And it's just this millionaire tech mogul guy. And it's just like, because Urkel made an app and that drags on forever. And then be like this story it keeps dragging and dragging and dragging. Yeah. And then it be like, we get Santa Yeti and this and this and this. Just it's too long in the tooth. It's too long in the tooth of a film. It needs to be shorter. And I think it'd be more comparable and more palatable of a film if it was shorter. But no, this is an hour 36, 37 minutes. I'm like, when are you going to end? Yeah. That's my second dislike. It's too freaking long when it doesn't need to be.
Okay.
Right? Be like, if you're
I get what you're saying. If you don't need to repeat yourself if you're heading back into another loop.
Right. Yes. Sorry, I do have a tendency of like looping back what I said before. But yeah, it is way too freaking long. Trim the fat, and you got a better movie, but they didn't. What is your second dislike?
Third. I'm on third.
Oh, you're on third.
I jumped ahead.
That's right.
No, my third dislike for this is the fact that it won't stop winking at the audience.
Oh gosh, you're not kidding.
Look, guys, I know this is a comedy, but the best comedies for me are the ones that take themselves seriously. It's not you're not. It's one thing to pause for laughter. It's another thing to pause for laughter you know is not there, or you think is there, but you know it's not going to be.
Right.
And to make sure people are laughing, you hit them over the head with the reference. Like the moment when they say I don't remember what exactly it was, but they said something about rebooting nostalgic properties and something. And immediately the TV on the upper sidewalk of the mall starts playing the Family Matters theme with the logo. It's like, huh? You see what we did there? Ha ha ha! You see, ha? Wasn't that funny? Ha ha ha! Shut up. Urkelbot is in this too much because they're trying to. They try to make too many jokes with him.
Yeah, agreed.
And they all come off as winking at the camera. It's like they're taking the worst aspects of every animated sitcom and they threw it into this film.
Fair.
And then tried to have an adventure story where Santa Claus is a Yeti. And in some ways, that was just a joke in and of itself. They thought, oh, wouldn't it be funny if Santa Claus, instead of being a big, jolly old elf fat guy, was actually a Bigfoot?
And it really goes nowhere, does it?
It goes nowhere. It means nothing.
Yeah.
All they get is a cultural appropriation joke out of it.
Yeah.
In a kid's show. You don't need a cultural appropriation joke in a kid's show. And this is going to go into your bonus fourth bad thing with this. I have no idea who this thing is being aimed at.
Yeah.
It was made to go on Cartoon Network. So it's obviously supposed to be for kids.
Mm-hmm.
But nostalgically, it is looking back at a show from the 90s, which means you're aiming for the 45 to 35 crowd.
All right.
Our age. Granted, maybe the thought process is, oh, I used to watch Steve Urkel when I was a kid. This will be good for the kids to watch. We can watch this as a family.
Yeah.
If this was going to be a family movie, why are there so many adult-ish jokes all the way through this that aren't funny either?
No.
Not to mention, as much as I like Jaleel White's performance as Urkel himself, because I think he does a good job with it, he cannot sing in that voice.
No, he can't.
And we have to hear it a lot.
Oh my gosh. You're not kidding. Oh my gosh.
And it feels like when they started, they made this a musical as a joke. It's like, can you imagine Steve Urkel singing? And then they didn't realize they were so, to quote another movie, they were so interested in whether or not they could. They never asked if they should.
Yep. Agreed.
And the one thing you can definitely say about anyone in this film is that none of them were very clever, be they boys or girls.
Wow. You're not kidding.
I would have rather had an animated Jurassic Park comedy than this. For fun, just bring Chris Pratt in. He's already in the movie franchise anyway. Make it the I think it's a Jerry Goldsmith. That's not his name. Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum. Make it the Jeff Goldblum Chris Pratt hour.
Oh gosh.
Just those two rocking on each other while dinosaurs are chasing people in the background.
Oh my gosh. So
you can still have Santa Claus be a Yeti in that too.
You could. It would make more sense. And it would go somewhere, maybe.
I will say there was one other tiny little thing I did like. I know we're on dislikes, but I liked how his elves were Lord of the Rings elves.
You're not kidding, they were.
That was funny to me.
That was kind of funny.
That's the thing. It's got all these references.
Uh-huh.
Two different things. They're subtle enough that they thankfully don't hit you over the head with them.
True.
But when you notice it, it's like, you did that because you own Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
You did that because, wouldn't it be funny if?
Mm-hmm.
Here's a question. You should be asking not, would it be funny if? It's like, is this funny? Because some of the stuff is not funny at all.
No.
You're supposed to be a comedy. That's the end of my ranting.
So
and you'll note I did not play a certain audio clip that we borrowed from friend of the show. Because it's not that bad.
Agreed.
But I'm still not happy about it.
Yeah. So my third dislike, and I'm gonna bounce off yours with the fourth. I'm saddened because there again, looking at the cover for this movie makes you think that this is going to be Steve Urkel and the Winslow family.
Because the characters of Department Store Santa and
look like him.
They look like Steph and Carl.
Yeah, because I'd be like, you've seen Carl as a character do Santa once or twice. It would not be possible. And it was like, what's going on?
To some degree, this looked like while it was being called it was very obviously Urkel focused.
Mm-hmm.
Let's face it, the show became Urkel focused
It
after a
did.
long time.
It did.
Because he was only supposed to be in a 1 episode originally.
Exactly.
It really did feel like you were still going to be following through with what made that show funny.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I'd be like there again. I grew up watching Family Matters. It was one of those shows I absolutely loved. It did a lot of very like good cultural things. It would talk about race. It would talk about culture, talk about this and this and this. This movie, oh my gosh, yes, you can do a reference to something, but it's tying in with this idea that one, you're pushing this towards a generation knows nothing about Family Matters, probably knows zero to nothing about Urkel, except be like, oh, you Urkeled it, or like Nerd Day at school or something like that, because most of the kids dress up as Urkel. Yeah, they don't know who he is.
That's their definition of nerd, despite the fact I'm a nerd.
Yeah. Right. But oh my god, this drove me nuts. Because if you're going to make a movie about Steve Urkel, be like, you have to put the characters in there somewhere to make it more sense when they're in
for context.
Yeah, for context.
Because if you're not, because what made Urkel funny in Family Matters was not Urkel by himself.
Yeah.
It was how the other people, the normal people, the normal family reacted to him.
Yeah.
And how they eventually would come to love and respect him.
Exactly. And this movie doesn't do that.
No, there's no respect for anybody at the end of this film.
No. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And to kind of go with my fourth, because we've already talked about my fourth and fifth dislikes.
We have lots of dislikes.
We have a lot of dislikes with this movie. It's a very terrible musical. Be like, when it first starts, I'm like, okay, interesting. And then every other song, every other thing is a musical until the very end of the freaking movie. They decide, oh, we're no longer a musical. Be like, make up your mind. Make either you are a musical or you're not. Because most musicals are a musical all the way through. Be like, heck, I saw Wicked in theater in on Broadway or off Broadway. Be like, that was amazing because it is a musical the entire time. It's not an opera, but you have characters who sing most of the time. They do a little dialogue and sing. This movie, it decided its first 2 acts, it's all a musical. Its third act, they drop the musical part and just go with,
we're going into a horror film.
They go into a horror film in so many ways. It's like, and again, they don't know who they're trying to direct this movie to. Because they're again be like, if you're going to do the right thing, point it towards the 30 and 40-year-olds who watched this thing when Family Matters came on, so we understand. Be like, this is my childhood. I want to watch this, and maybe bring the Winslows in if it's just for like 1 minute.
Even if you can't get the original actors, which would be a disappointment,
right?
In this setting, you could easily have people playing the characters, and you could still say, "Oh, that's Carl." That's Steph. That's the grandmother who I know that actress is probably dead.
Yeah, she passed away.
Yeah. You could do that in a way that would make sense and it would still feel like this is part of that universe instead of, how is this part of Family Matters? We're going to make some Family Matters jokes.
Yeah.
That's all we need, right?
No.
The reason Urkel was funny was because of the relationships, not because he was accident prone.
Yes.
The accident prone fed the jokes, fed what made it great. Because we did not hate Urkel.
No.
This, after a while, I'm like, well, you just stop, Urkel. You are wrecking everything. I don't know why any of these people are even talking to you. I don't know why you're talking to them because they don't act like they like you either.
Yeah.
In fact, I would debate if any of these people like Urkel or each other. It's Chicago, so I mean,
it's getting along to get along, and oh my gosh, this movie is, I think it's a disservice to its original source material. I understand where the cultural zeitgeist of Urkel is a pop culture character, but when you take Urkel out of its original context and talking about stuff that doesn't really have anything to do with the character, and you're just throwing him into a new situation,
Uh-huh.
it doesn't fit. Because, like you said, be like without the Winslows, Urkel just gets more and more annoying.
Yeah.
And you don't have that compassion, except for his new neighbors who we don't know.
Because as the Winslows, as the Winslows got to know him, we got to know him, and the love came to him that way.
Exactly.
There's no love in this.
No, there's not.
If you want his neighbors to replace the Winslows, granted, why would you? At least, Grant, you kind of see the love there for a bit when they're inviting him over, even though he always messes things up.
Yeah.
You kind of see it, but I don't believe any of it.
No.
Also, why all the Purge jokes?
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of
It's just like that documentary, The Purge. I don't think that was a documentary, buddy.
Yeah. So that was my third and fourth.
And a couple others.
Either
Let's
way.
be honest.
Yeah.
We need to rate this thing.
Yeah. What are you rating?
4.0.
4.0.
4.0.
Ooh.
There's a lot of stuff here that's of quality.
Yeah.
A lot of things that it's the kind of things it's like you've got enough here as a foundation that if you would just polish the rest of it, and really put full work into the whole thing and take your project seriously, because that's the other thing. I don't think this thing was I don't think they were taking this project very seriously.
Agreed.
You could actually have something here, but because you cut it off at the knees and basically mishandled nostalgia. Because that's what this movie's biggest issue is. It's mishandled nostalgia.
Agreed.
You completely ruined any hope you had for this. Granted, I'm not saying that you can't make a TV show out of this, and maybe it would fix it.
Maybe.
Because obviously this feels like a first draft on, like we said, a pilot.
Yeah.
In so many ways. But honestly, I don't see how this could really take off the way it currently is.
Well, with how current
even if you were trying to breathe new life into this for a new franchise by making a new series where you have to reintroduce Urkel into the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
This was not a good way to do it.
No, it wasn't.
And that's probably what it comes down to, is that when I say I don't know who this is for, it's because it's not our Urkel that we grew up with. And it's not really introducing the Urkel character in a good way to a new generation. So I really don't know who this is for.
Yeah.
Anyway, 4.0. What are you rating it?
I'm gonna give it a 4.5 just because there's parts of this movie it's like, okay, I like this. The rest of it's just like, wow. So yeah, 4.5.
All right. Next week is Christmas.
So we're off.
And the week after that is New Year's. So we're off. We gave ourselves a 2-week break. And then when we come back, we're doing Indie Shorts Month.
Yes.
Again. And we're starting off with my pick. Which, yes, I will send you YouTube links so you can find this thing.
Excellent.
I got 2 videos on here from our first one. That will be Haloid.
Haloid.
It is a... would you know who I meant when I said Monty Ohm?
No.
You know Ruby. RWBY?
Yes.
You know how the fight scenes in there are like really, really good?
Yes.
This is that guy.
Oh.
Before he got hot, this is probably what this and another one of his series he did called Dead Fantasy, which was combining Dead or Alive with Final Fantasy.
Interesting.
Is what got him noticed. Because technically, Ruby is his anime before he passed.
Okay.
But yeah, this is one of his early shorts. It was on GameTrailers.com. That website is gone. And it does not appear that website left after he passed.
Okay, I heard about this, yeah.
So unfortunately, whoever has the original video has never uploaded it to YouTube. So we are looking at basically somebody else's copy.
Gotcha.
And then when I was looking for stuff to put on here, I ran across a independent music video.
Okay.
Called Donkey Kong Country: Curse of the Crystal Coconut.
Interesting.
It is 3D animated, and it's actually very good.
Interesting.
So I thought that would be fun to look at. It's about, a pirate who has to fight a monkey over his jewel he finds.
Okay.
And you can tell when you're watching it, it's meant to be mimicking the old Donkey Kong Country TV show.
Okay.
But it's actually animated a lot better than that, which honestly wouldn't take much. But yeah, that's what we're reviewing when we return in 2024 for the CELcast, a month before our 5th year reunion, our anniversary.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Of this podcast. Can you believe we've almost done this for 5 years?
That is incredible.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what we're going with next time. On the other side of the bumpers, we will be talking about, of course, what we've been watching, some news, and then a certain robot angel fighting thing. Actually, let me rephrase that. We'll be talking about a fight that I actually know better than Shinji, because I think I fought that angel more times in Final Fantasy XIV than Shinji was able to, and I didn't have to shoot it with the entire energy of Japan. So let's get to that. Let's go. We'll hit that on the other side of the intermission.
Yes.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box. Whether you enjoy geeky reviews, comedy, or original fiction, you can open up the Culture Box and find something excellent for your soul. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
I know. I didn't have my notes up. Now I can't find the notes. This week, we suggest checking out the Retro Rewind podcast. Every other week, you can join them as they travel back 15 or more years along the entertainment space-time continuum in their mission to review movies and games, establishing what is still worth watching and what you should just kind of let fall into the ether. Expect fun banter and trivial insights from Francisco Paul and a rotating guest hosts who are all out of time. Maybe they'll finally get done with the aftermath of Jared.
Okay, then.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't. Apparently,
let's just say things have been fun over there.
Ah.
Also, the CELcast would like to thank the following patrons: Ashley and Francisco Ruiz, Book of Gaming, PaulJPowers.com, and Edwin Gonzalez. If you want your name shouted out on the show, some special art from Jacob, uncut episodes, and the chance to request and possibly be on the CELcast, you can donate to us on Patreon. Check the link in the description. And if you will excuse me for a short minute, I need to go empty my nose. So, entertain the folks.
Got it. While Drew walks in front of me, I can't see the screen. You would probably saw a shadow just right then. But yeah, so yeah, we're in a little intermission right now, and yeah. So what is your plans for Christmas this year? Be like, are you planning to go visit family? Are you gonna go just hang out with friends? Are you going to Christmas parties? Are you getting to invite here, here, or here? Or are you just going to go hang out on the internet with your friends and, open a present by yourself? If you're doing that, I feel real sorry for you. But overall, be like Christmas for me, it's family Christmas with my mom's side of the family. And then it's going over then to, which has become a new tradition, going over to my fiance's house and Christmas changes there. And then
you won't be able to do that tradition next year.
No,
you won't have to go over to your fiance's house. If you go over to a fiance's house next year,
yeah,
you're in a lot of trouble.
There's a lot of problem there.
But then your fiance should be your wife.
Yeah, you would think.
I'm back, folks.
Good.
I can breathe again.
Yeah, good. That's always a good thing to breathe. Yeah.
So, since no one is speaking in our chat,
no.
How about I ask you a question? So, Jacob, I've got a question for you.
What have you been watching?
All right. So, what I've been watching, I'm currently dog sitting this week for a church friend, and she has Amazon Video, or Amazon Prime Video, whatever it's called.
Prime Video, yes.
Prime Video. So I finally finished up the first season of Invincible. And I was very impressed. Because it's telling a good story, and it's wrapped up that story, and they've gotten to a new season. They dropped the new season a couple of weeks ago or a month ago. And other than that, I've kind of jumped ahead of watching a little more Ava, even in Neon Genesis Evangelion. And yeah, that's about it. That's all I've been watching for the most part.
All right. Well, granted, we only had 3 days between viewings. So outside of watching this and doing some gaming of Baldur's Gate 3, the only other thing I've watched was yesterday. Apparently, they dropped a new series on Netflix based off of an old anime that I remember enjoying when I was in high school.
Really?
About a delinquent, a Grim Reaper, a guy with a rose whip, a little demon samurai guy, some dude who has a pacifier no matter if he's a child or an adult, maybe some spirit guns. The live action Yu Yu Hakusho. I didn't know this was happening.
I saw something about that, yeah.
But it'd been advertising like the last couple times I got on Netflix for stuff. Every time I go to watch Neon Genesis Evangelion, it's like, oh, there's a Yu Yu Hakusho show coming up. It's like, that's odd timing, but okay, we'll see what that's like. So it happened to be on, and I turned it on when I got home from doing some errands after work today. And watched the first episode, which is basically that first arc of Yu Yu Hakusho, where he's dead. Yeah. And he has to, get resurrected. It does have an English dub, even though it's a Japanese cast. Yeah. And I swear, if I did not look up who the cast was, I thought they got the original Funimation cast back. Botan sounds like Botan. Now, Grant, it is they only have adult Koenma. Yeah. Because honestly, how would you explain the baby form? Okay. In a live action thing that wouldn't work as well, I think. So they only have the adult version of it, and he does not sound like the adult version of Koenma. But Kuwabara and Urameshi, and I didn't get to hear Rose Whip and Samurai Demon talk, but all these people, it was different, obviously. Yeah. But it really felt like I was watching it was a nice rewatch of this story I enjoyed when I was young. The question is, when we get to what episode 5, is it going to have, just like the anime, degraded back into standard Shonen Jump drag, trying to be Dragon Ball when it's not Dragon Ball and it was never intended to be Dragon Ball.
I gotcha.
But I'm curious if that's going to happen. But yeah, I enjoyed watching that first episode, because I think there's only 5 episodes out. Okay. But it was a fun episode. Okay. That I watched. It was an hour long. And then when that went off, I apparently decided it was time to take a nap. But it was a good show. It was good. They did a good job with the character designs. There is a nice little throwback to the theme song from the original show. It's playing on the radio right before on the radio of the truck that hits Urameshi. Oh, right before he hits Urameshi.
Wow.
So yeah. Let's not forget, this was the first isekai, because the isekai truck of good fortune hit Urameshi before it hit anybody else. Wow. And it did take him to another world, the spirit world. Anyway, and he did have to talk to a death goddess to get there. Anyway, yeah, the live action Yu Yu Hakusho, I got a chance to watch that. Nice. And that's pretty much all I've watched, because we haven't had much time to watch anything.
That is true.
Last episode.
4 days? 5 days?
It was Monday. It was Monday of this week. Yeah. And this is Friday. So
Monday. 4 days.
You do the math.
Yeah, it's 4 days. You're asking the guy who's terrible with math to do math.
Said the pot to the kettle.
Yeah.
So, Jacob, what do we have in the news?
The CEL Cast News with your host Jacob Heron.
Why, thank you, Dealit. And going into the news. So apparently Paramount released the other day revealed a teaser trailer and behind the scenes featurette of If, the new live action hybrid animated hybrid film about what happens to imaginary friends who are left behind when we grow up. Written and directed by John Cusack. The film will hit theaters on May.
John Krasinski?
Krasinski. That's what I meant to say. John
Because
Krasinski.
it's Jim from The Office.
Yes.
You're thinking Joan Cusack.
Yeah, that's right. Krasinski, right?
Yeah, Krasinski.
Krasinski. Yeah.
Or just Jim from The Office.
I never watched The Office, so
I can't help that.
yeah, exactly. The film will
You'll
hit
note I didn't suggest you go watch it.
Yeah. It will hit theaters on May 17th, 2024. Synopsis of this film. If is about a girl who discovers that she can see everyone's imaginary friend and what she does with the superpower as she embarks on a magical adventure to reconnect the forgotten IFs with their children, with their kids. All right, so we're getting another Kung Fu Panda movie.
I'm aware.
Yes.
And it looks like he is going full dragon.
Yeah.
If you ever wondered what a panda bear would look like with dragon scales, go look at that poster.
All right. So DreamWorks Animation and Universal Pictures have released the official trailer for Kung Fu Panda 4, the latest installment of the blockbuster martial arts action comedy franchise starring Jack Black. Ahead of the film's March 8th theatrical debut, fans got a more in-depth look at the sinister power switching ability of the don't you love it when you look at a word, you know what the word is?
Point to it.
Brink.
Chameleon?
Thank you. I had the word in my head. I just could not say it for the life of me. It'd be like Pascal.
Pascal would be so displeased.
Yeah. Chameleon, a crafty new ally for Poe, guides viewers through a colorful city of criminals. And that's all I have for the news.
I've got one more for you.
Go ahead.
Star Trek Prodigy's second season finished production today.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. So where's it going to be?
Netflix.
Oh, okay, good.
The first season is going to drop on Netflix Christmas Day.
Okay.
So if you missed it on Paramount Plus, because it's not there, it hasn't been there for a month, you can jump over there and watch the show there. Or season 1 there. And then once it gets at a later date, they'll release season 2 on there.
That's good.
I am debating on a way to put that on the show, but I'm not going to force it in there with everything else. So it may go up on a vote at some point.
I gotcha.
That and the original animated series, I think I want to do at some point. Just so I can get you. You'll give me those looks like, why did you put this on the list? That Tribble was pink. But anyway, so yeah, it is that time again, folks, for us to experience some emotional damage.
Card Captors, a mystic adventure. Card Captors, a quest for all time.
She is the one named Sailor Moon.
Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. It's you and me. I know it's my destiny. Pokemon.
It's time to do
robot. The cockpit's too small for a grown-up. Kick some butt in your robot.
この空を抱いて輝く少年よ神話になれ
Emotional damage.
Once again, the Lost 4 Kids opening clip in that is by Eagle 8 Burger, and Emotional Damage is Stephen Heat. Because that's the one things I feel like I still need to credit who they are.
Yes.
Because I'm sure you know Rock the Dragon is from Dragon Ball Z, and Card Captors is from Card Captors, and Pokemon are dueling Digimon, and
Yeah.
and let's not forget gotta go. Set sail for One Piece. I never watched this show on 4 Kids, and I'll never watch the full length version ever. But I know a lot of people like One Piece. And I just think that English theme is some kinds of special.
Yes.
Anyway.
Oh my word.
Neon Genesis Evangelion. First episode tonight, Ray Beyond the Heart, aka Ray 1. Yes, that's the English name for this is Ray 1. This episode was written and directed by Hideaki Anno. No new cast for this episode. The angel who appears in this episode is Ramiel. Ramiel's design was a direct tribute to the mech Super X from Future Police, Urashimon.
Really?
The changes to Ramiel's design in the Evangelion 1.0 movie are even closer to the original, with Ramiel regaining Super X's polyhedral shape-shifting abilities.
That's right, yeah.
Now, officially, all this is what this is, but, you know, I, of course, know of one other version of this, where this design is kind of used.
Okay.
Final Fantasy.
Oh.
The character of Ozma.
Okay.
Is a super boss in Final Fantasy 9. I, however, fought it in and multiple times, I should add, in Final Fantasy 14 during the Alliance raid. What is the name of that? The Weeping City of Ma'ak, where it's the second to last boss, and it does pretty much everything that this thing does except drill. So yeah, I was like, I watched this go, oh look, it's Ozma. I better run to the right. At least I know the mechanics for this fight. Let's see if Shinji knows them. Shinji doesn't know them. Shinji gets party wipe in the first 5 seconds. Anyway, Ramiel also resembles the blue water crystal in the previous Gainax anime Nadia and the Secret of Blue Water, which Anno also directed. Ultimately, Urashimon is the source. In addition, the same regular octahedral design is seen in 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Huh.
The version of Fly Me to the Moon in the ADV and Japanese dubs is called Ray Number 5, which technically is a remix, and this time it is being sung by Ray's Japanese voice actress, Megumi Hayashibara. So, yeah, this episode.
Yeah.
Shinji needs to learn not to step into the line of fire. That's all I'm saying.
True. Well, he's still learning how to do this, right?
And that's fair. They did not know that this thing, and admittedly, this was like the odd angel that Nerve had seen. So it's not, they only knew at the last second that, oh, the thing's going to hit Shinji just as soon as he gets up there. And it's going to kill him, probably.
Try to kill him.
But it actually starts off with us actually seeing how, why actually Gendo has to wear gloves. It's because he's got burns on his hands from when he went and saved Ray when the first activation test before the series went bad, which got her injured in the first place.
Yeah, Unit 0.
Yeah, Unit 0. Which I have to say, now that we've really gotten a good look at Unit 0, I kind of like its design, especially with the 9 object, what do you call those? The digital displays all over, which make no sense in a robot that size to have like the 7 segment displays. That's what those are called.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't make any amount of sense.
Right.
for us for those for that thing to have screens on it to show information and change, because all it really needs is a paint job that says Evangelion proto unit 0 or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, it's got to have the whole thing where it turns on. It's like, y'all had too much fun designing this, Ava. Y'all had way too much fun designing this, Ava. And I don't mean the animators of this program. I mean Nerve.
All I got to say is wait until you see Unit 2.
We'll get there when we get there.
We'll get there.
Unit 1, though, we've never really talked about its design.
It's purple.
It's purple. And it's skinny. Of course, they're both skinny.
They're all skinny.
Still. Yeah, it is a good design too, but yeah, you can definitely really get the feel that we are dealing with a demon versus angel appearance on all of these things.
Yes,
because Unit 0 is definitely a Cyclops.
Yeah,
whereas as Unit 1 is an Oni.
Yeah,
a demon. So, and they're fighting a non-Euclidean creature that apparently is somehow got human DNA or human-like DNA.
Yeah.
But it's expressed differently, and that's your legitimate reason why these things look weird. I'm assuming that'll come back into play.
Possibly.
Especially considering some other things I've seen accidentally.
Yeah.
But
thanks, Wiki.
Yeah, thank you, research, for trying to figure out who Ray is. Or Ray's voice actress is. So yeah, I mean, this first episode, it does get into some business, some stories, and sexual harassment.
A little, totally by accident.
Okay, let's be honest. I've watched a lot of anime.
Yeah,
there is very rarely a scene where an anime protagonist touches a woman's bosom where it's intentional and in that way.
Yes.
I would love to know, how did you not notice? Isn't it squishy? Jeez. I'm not trying to be awful here.
I know what you mean.
Just saying,
I know what
it's
you mean.
human flesh,
right?
On one hand, and I assume it's got a slightly different feel to it than like an arm or a shoulder or even a stomach.
Okay, to be fair,
I just want to know, how did you not at least feel the point up there? You know what I'm saying?
It's a point.
This is the problem I have with most of this trope outside of, oh, it's an excuse to make a pervert joke.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see it. But like in Shinji's defense, be like, he goes to the apartment, be like, no answer. He walks in, which is probably a mistake.
Yeah.
A little bit of a mistake. And be like, oh, he's confronted by Ray, and be like, Ray's more like, okay, don't care. Be like, what are you doing here? She's
not thinking, what are you doing here? She's like, hi.
Yeah.
Don't wear those glasses.
Yeah. What are you doing with those glasses? Don't touch those glasses.
And I'm sitting there going,
and I wonder
if that makes him look like his father, because I'm fairly certain those are his. But we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. But it's like that's like you have this very interesting, because you get to know Ray a little bit. Like you get to know her none, but you get to know her.
She's an extreme introvert who only opens up to people she likes.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why she opens up so much with Gendo, because Gendo saved her life.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm recognizing the look on your face.
Yes.
Which is saying there's more to that relationship, which honestly, I know there's more to this relationship because it's painfully obvious there has to be.
Yeah.
Not to mention that video I showed you when we first started.
Yeah. Yeah. But either or, be like, I enjoy this episode where it's Shinji trying to understand Ray. It's just like, I don't really know anything about her, and no one really does because her past's been wiped. I wonder why.
I'd have one other little funny thing to mention, and this actually is a callback to the movie we reviewed a minute ago. The scene where he's following her on the escalator. I literally popped in my head, because I literally watched this the same day.
Yeah.
As I watched Urkel. And they're on it, and immediately my mind went, oh, it's a winter wonderland with escalators.
Oh, gosh.
Happy holidays. It's like the stupidest song. Was like
bad writing.
And I'm sitting there going, oh, it's a winter wonderland with escalators. in Nerve. Except it's orange juice, not snow. Anyway.
Jeez. Oh my gosh. But like, I enjoy this episode because we lead up to now. Is Shinji injured in this episode? I can't remember if he is or not. Or is it the next episode?
He is injured because when the beam, well, no, it's technically the next one.
Yeah, it's the next episode. That's
We
what I
see
thought.
him get shot, but I think it cuts before the shot finishes.
Yeah, because he pops up in the lift and instantly fires.
You don't get to see the injury to the Ava unit.
Yeah. So it's a good episode. It's trying to build character, build mystery of like who Rei is and Shinji. At this point, I'm starting to really be like, you start to really, Shinji's coming out of his shell.
Mhm.
Be like he's starting to like interact with his his friends, his like him, like, oh, I can't remember if it's this episode or the next one. Now, granted, I've watched ahead of it a little bit.
Yeah.
But
I'll be holding you back a lot going forward.
yes. But be like Shinji's starting to come out of his shell. And you're starting to understand a little bit what's going on, a little bit here and there with certain characters. Yeah, because I think it's the next episode that we're talking about with Rei 2 that talks a little more about the relationship between Shinji and Masato.
Yeah, it's more of the next one. Because Masato is barely in this episode.
Yeah, she's barely in it. But like this first episode, Rei 1 is really good because it does a lot of setup for you.
Yeah.
And then we get into Rei 2.
Yes, let's go ahead and get into Rei 2.
Mm-hmm.
Also known as Showdown in Tokyo 3.
Mm-hmm.
Also known as the Sniper episode.
Mm-hmm.
There is no new cast in this one, as you can probably gather. Now, granted, when I say that there's no new cast in this episode, I'm not saying that there's not side characters and background characters. The thing is, the way I have to track cast lists for this show, it doesn't really make it easy to follow the dub, who the cast is for any of the characters besides the primary and secondary characters with all the different people in there. So background characters I have not mentioned. I have all the actors' names listed, and I am holding off until the last episode of the show to name all those actors.
Okay.
So anyway, we of course are still dealing with Ramiel in this episode. This marks the first angel battle in which more than one Evangelion is used at the same time. The shot of the forest being set on fire with the blast resembles a shot from Nadia's Secret of Blue Water episode, The Tower of Babel, an earlier anime series also directed by Anno. According to this, it is going to take a long time for Nerve to clean up Ramiel's corpse. After many angel fights, the angel will conveniently explode and require no cleanup, as was the case with Sachiel. However, on top of the fact that Ramiel did not explode, it is a very massive angel. Throughout the next 3 episodes, there will be shots showing Ramiel's corpse slowly being demolished and cleared away. The first words on the screen notifying civilians of the power outage mention Hideki Anno's hometown. The Fly Me to the Moon version we get in this is Rei number 6, which is a remix of Fly Me to the Moon with, once again, Megumi Hayashibara, Rei's voice actress, singing it. And I listened to these two back to back 3 times to try and get an idea as to what is actually different between these two versions, as they are listed as different versions of the same song. And about the only thing I could make out is that she is singing the lyrics slightly differently in the second version than she is in the first version.
Okay.
And I don't know if that actually means anything.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
Bear that in mind. So we have reached the climax of You Are Not Alone.
Yeah.
Because up until this point, I knew this story because I've seen it on the movie, which I liked. Because that's like I liked You Are Not Alone when I first watched it.
It's a good movie.
And so the reason I originally did not watch the ADV dub when I did is because I watched like the first disc, which was up to episode 5, I think. And after about episode 3, I thought, this is the same thing. I'll just wait for movie 2 instead of going through this whole thing. I had no idea movie 2 was going to differentiate so much from the rest of the show.
It does.
Which I will find more out next episode.
Yes.
So I do like this one myself with the whole setup of all of Japan is basically teaming up together to put a stop to this angel. It's all going through Shinji.
Yeah.
But for the most part, this is actually taking all the work of Japan to come together.
Yeah.
Now, I do have one small little logistical question.
Okay. I might have to be able to answer.
No, you probably don't.
Okay.
I'm not saying you might not know, but it may be more rationalization than anything else.
Okay.
Because it's the only thing I was able to come up with was rationalization.
Mhm.
So when they were rebuilding Japan after World War II,
Mm-hmm.
and they were rebuilding the electrical grid,
Yeah.
I am aware that they were sourcing the parts for the generators from both America and England.
Mm-hmm.
And as such, Japan has a strange thing where their power grid, half of it runs at a refresh rate of 50 hertz, while the other half runs off 60 hertz.
Weird.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So that you actually have to know which part of the country you're in before you plug something in, so you can change a little thing on the back. Now, granted, a lot of that stuff now can automatically detect which one it is and make that change. But for a while, you had to know.
Yeah.
And in some cases, like a light bulb, it wouldn't matter anyway. But computers and such, it does matter.
Yeah.
We are dealing with a very heavy, very powerful electrical appliance.
Mm-hmm.
And I am guessing, it's the only thing I can come up with, either the second impact actually required them to rebuild that entire grid again and they rebuilt it correctly, or more likely, there's a lot of other temporary things they brought in.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them had to be 50 and others had to be 60. Otherwise, they're incompatible with one another.
Yeah.
So in my mind, assuming that their history mirrors ours up to the second impact.
Yeah.
This should be completely impossible for them to do because the electrical grids don't work together.
Okay. So I don't, because
it's still a cool shot when they zoom out and you see all of Japan going dark.
Yeah, I agree. Now, be like, we haven't got to the point where they started explaining what happened to Tokyo 1, right?
Right. We don't know that. I know they keep mentioning the second impact.
Yeah, second impact.
To reference
or Tokyo 2, actually.
Well, that's the thing. They mentioned the second impact. I don't know what the first impact is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm assuming there's a first impact. And from what I remember of the movies, we're trying to stop a third impact.
Yeah, you're trying to stop a third impact.
Officially.
Yes. Officially.
I know it's officially because I have suspicions that the secret council Gendo is working on actually wants a third impact.
Oh.
I have suspicions, but we'll see.
Suspicions.
I'm assuming that's that human instrumentality project thing.
Something like that.
But we'll get back to that. We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, exactly.
But
CEL. That's what that is. CEL.
I thought it was CEL.
No, CEL.
I haven't actually heard the name said out loud yet.
Yeah,
that's
CEL.
my excuse. I've just seen the word written down and go, CEL.
Well, just waiting to meet Taji.
I think I know Taji because I think he shows up at the end of 2.0.
No, that's not Taji.
Well, there's a guy a lot like him.
No.
This the guy you don't like?
No, I don't like him.
I still suspect he's the same guy.
No, he's not.
Anyway,
he pops up when Asuka pops up. Or Asuka Lanely Soyuz.
Also, I do need to jump on this again because both these episodes mention specifically for Tiffany Grant, who is going to be the English voice actress for Asuka. They list her in these episodes playing Asuka. Asuka's not in these episodes. What doing this?
They mention the second child.
They mentioned it last time.
Yeah,
but they also said they didn't know who it was.
Yeah, they were locating her.
Yeah,
locating the third child or second child.
Either way,
third child, whatever.
I thought Shinji was the third.
That's right, because
Shinji's the third, Gray's the first, and then Asuka's technically the fourth.
Third.
No, Shinji's the third.
Okay.
From what I remember reading.
That's right. Yeah.
So, and Asuka was fourth, which makes it sound like there's another one, unless Asuka's actually the second, and I got that confused.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter right now. I'm just saying, I do like this. It does, at least we do get Rei and Shinji being able to work together for the first
Mhm.
time, even though all Rei gets to do is hold a giant ship that they've made work as a shield.
Yes.
I love the fact that it's just a giant ship
Yeah.
that happens to look like a shield,
Mhm.
even having the little thing all the way through so she can see what she's looking at.
Mhm.
It's like, this is the weirdest friggin' looking ship.
Yeah, agreed.
So I guess it's supposed to be a spaceship though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be
It's
the
just but it's from a failed project.
no, it's from it's the undercarriage of like a space shuttle. They
Okay.
just took that off.
That's
and
fair.
They
That's
made
fair.
it a shield.
Also, I love the fact when she's going and requisitioning the particle accelerator from those poor scientists.
Uh-huh.
And she says, Ray, it's good. You're good for a go. I'm thinking, what's Ray gonna do? She's just a little girl, and she just yanks the roof off, picks it up, and sets it back down like it's nothing. It's like, there's got to be a better way to do this and cause structural damage to a very expensive building.
Uh-huh.
Because that building is condemned now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I do like this episode. It's done very well. I still feel bad for Shinji because he gets brutally injured, and then it's like, and all he finds out is, in 7 hours you're going to be firing at a giant at that thing again.
Mm-hmm.
I will protect you. It's like, I don't know if I trust you yet because I really don't know you, Ray, because you don't open up. Let's just say I kind of have putting some connections as to why Fly Me to the Moon is the ending of this.
Yeah, we'll find out.
We'll get there when we get there. Anyway, what are your thoughts? I'm kind of rambling.
I think you kind of pointed all of mine because it was Shinji gets injured, and it's we're going to do this long range sniper shot because we can't get close to it, and all this set up and like just the logistics of it, and like Ray being Shinji's backup in this scene, and it reflects what they did in Ray 1, where Shinji goes to Ray's rescue and does the exact same thing, pries the entry plug open to pull her out of it, just like Gendo did.
Yeah.
So it's kind of reflective.
Except Shinji's smart enough to be wearing gloves while he does it.
That's true. But like overall, it's a good episode, and you finally get to see Ray do something besides just grimace,
take a nap.
No, actually smile. That was a very sweet moment where it was like you could be like just smile, and she does smile. It's just like that's sweet, and it's getting a character open up, and we might get to see her open up. Maybe not. We don't know.
Okay then.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about one other thing involving this, and that is the one thing I like. One of the things I really like about the lead up on this episode is all the little bit of government bureaucracy stuff. Great, it's all focused on Masato getting it done and answering all these questions. But what it reminded me of, and I know this is a big surprise, is he kind of Hideki Anno kind of revisits this scene in a way in Shin Godzilla.
Okay,
because they're trying to come up with a way to stop Godzilla from attacking the city. And it really kind of has this feel to it of like I'm half surprised. I would be surprised to find out it's not the same musical cue.
Okay.
That's going into this planning meeting. So one of the things I have noted about this is that you can see Anno's love of tokusatsu throughout this.
Right.
And I'm appreciating being able to see that.
Okay.
So anyway, I think that's the end of this one.
Yeah, I agree.
Next week, 2 weeks in 2024, we will be looking at the episodes A Human Work, The Works of Man, and Asuka Arrives in Japan. Asuka Strikes.
That one's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
because
next time we get to learn about the holographic map. that Germany provided.
Yes. Snorkel. Crap. What do you call it? Schnitzel.
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 Quit thinking in Japanese.
From some other things. Anyway, so yeah, join us next week for that. Guys, as we're ending 2023 here, we do want to wish you a Merry Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate. Happy December 25th. Happy end of the year.
Yeah.
And definitely Happy New Year. I can say Happy New Year to everyone because pretty much everyone celebrates New Year's.
Exactly.
So thank y'all for joining us, not just for these episodes, but for this year.
Exactly.
And we are looking forward to seeing y'all next year in what is sure to be a crazy, crazy, crazy year. Because somebody's getting married next year.
Just a little bit.
You're just getting a little bit married.
Just a little.
The rest of it's going to stay single, but a little bit you're getting
shush. Married. Can you roll the bumpers already?
All right. In the meantime, this has been Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we'll catch you in the next frame.
You can follow Jacob on his Facebook at Jacob B. Heron. His Facebook page, Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where he tries to draw each and every day. His Instagram at Jacob B. Heron. His Twitter at Jacob Heron.
And his letterboxd at Jacob Heron. You can find Drew on Facebook at Drew Dodgen.
His Facebook page, Drew's Photo Bin, to see his photography. His letterboxd page at GGeorge759. His Twitter at GGeorge759. And Instagram at Drew Dodgen. You can like us on Facebook at the Cellcast Podcast. On Twitch at the Cellcast Gaming.
On YouTube at Cellcast.
On Twitter at cast_cell. The Cellcast can be found at Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or anywhere else fine podcasts are downloaded from. Please rate and review us where you found us, and also on Podchaser. Email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com. The Cellcast is a proud member of both the Pop Americana and Culture Box media networks. For more information, please see the link in the description. Our theme song is Drop and Roll by Silent Partner. And remember, that's Cell with a single L.
Did I do that?
Or did we do that? I hope we did.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
All right. That's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
I'm going to let anyone who's still hanging out in our Twitch chat go hang out with Bookie Gaming. He's doing some Bible study and might be playing some more TMNT speedrunning here in a bit. So y'all have fun with him. And we will catch y'all once again next year.
See ya. Hit the button.
I'm waiting for the buttons to allow me to hit it.